And we're live, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. I'm Audra Thompson. My husband Kevin Thompson. We're the founders of Hogs for Heroes. And we want to really thank all of you for on a crummy day like today, making the trip in here to be with us. So we're going to start things off by introducing our hosts. And our ability to be here today, to give this beautiful bike that you see behind us, comes down to a sole person having an amazing idea and making this happen. Lisa Bongean is literally known across the world for her incredible talent in quilting and in designing quilts. She came up with this idea to raise money to buy a Harley. Now what's interesting about Lisa is also a rider. And let me tell you, if we would have had good weather today, Lisa was going to ride up on her kick-ass bike and show y'all her dark side, because she does have one. She is a rider. So we really thought we should give Lisa that chance. Worlds colliding, quilters and riders coming together, but give Lisa the chance to show you a little bit of her riding persona. So let me introduce to you Lisa Bongean in her rider vest and her husband Nick Bongean. Right behind us here. And now, like we do with every ceremony, we started off patriotically, because it is very important to us that we remember why we have the freedoms and securities that we do and who made that possible for us. So here in our great country, we're going to start this off with the national anthem, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. To get us started, however, I welcome in the Nina Menasha Honor Guard.
Right over! Forward! March! Oh, left face! Reset! Arm!
Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Amber Kerr.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order! Arm!
All right. Thank you, everybody. Beautiful presentation. The anthem. Goosebumps, right? Goosebump worthy. Thank you, Amber. All right, here we go with our 30th gifting. And let me just take a minute to say 30th. Like, wow, that is unbelievable for us. We always love you knuckleheads in the crowd who make this, kind of a unique experience for us every single time. But here's the thing. We have a lot of you who know Hogs for Heroes. And we have a lot of you who know a little bit of Hogs for Heroes. And we have some of you who know nothing about Hogs for Heroes. So we take this chance to inform you all about what in the heck we do. It's simple. We raise money to buy Harleys to put injured Wisconsin veteran riders back out on the road. And we're talking about men or women who had that passion and love for riding, and in the course of service to our country have been injured or disabled, and they've returned home struggling. Physically, psychologically, emotionally, and financially. And they find themselves in a position in their lives where they cannot afford to have that bike in their life. So we intervene a little differently, and we offer a motorcycle as a tool to provide the alternative therapy found in the wind. And that's it. We're a family of 4. Kevin and I created this. Small family, his brother and sister-in-law do this with us. And we do it on the side of jobs in life. And quite frankly, when we started this out, we had no idea what we were doing. And we had no idea if we could even be successful enough to gift 1 bike a year. We gifted our first bike in 2016. And here we stand today, just a little over 6 years later, gifting number 30. Now, sometimes people say, why a motorcycle, right? Because we get it. It's not everybody's cup of tea. But riding is a passion. And if you understand passion, it's the same passion that you find in fishing, or in hunting, in art, or music, or, in this beautiful case, quilting. The motorcycle is a tool. Think of it that way. And it gives our recipients peace. It gives them control in their lives again. It gives them some pleasure, without doubt, but it gives them some pride as well. And when you take that a little further out, it puts them back into a community that perhaps some of them have disengaged from. And it puts them back into the very generous arms and supportive arms of the rider community. And you won't find bigger arms than those. Look at our guys over here. Look at those arms. But I'll tell you what, it is a way for them to find a part of their life that enhances their healing. And it helps them work through their struggles. It is not a cure. And I wish it would be. But it's not. But if that motorcycle right there can help somebody, and help somebody's family, and help somebody's employer, and somebody's community benefit, then what we're doing is right on track. So like I said, motorcycling isn't everyone's cup of tea. Let's use quilting as an example. When I got the phone call from Lisa Bongean herself, who said, I know you don't know me, but this is what I'm gonna do. My eyebrows went up a little bit, like, what? Quilters? Riders? What? But your efforts made that bike happen. And literally behind that bike is the story of how it all happened. That beautiful quilt, stitched by people across the nation, raised enough money to make that bike happen and give us a hell of a head start on another bike. might not realize, because I'm the girl who can barely put on a button, right? Lisa designs quilts. So when you're done, be sure to walk over to her store and take a look around you up above. Those are quilts that she has designed, that she has made, and that people across the world have done as well. But this beautiful design couldn't be any more representative of what Hogs for Heroes is all about, right? We're about a passion. We're not a business. We're about our country. We're about our veterans. We're about the red, white, and blue. And when you look at those colors, and you think about our flag has 13 stripes to represent our original 13 colonies. And although it's taken some variations throughout the years, it currently has 50 stars to represent our 50 states. But that stripe of red represents valor and hardiness. Some people say it represents the blood shed by others for us. That blue represents justice for all. It represents vigilance and perseverance. And that white represents purity and innocence. And originally, because we are a country that is independent of others, and we are strong in our values and ideals. We at Hogs for Heroes are not a political organization, but we are, in fact, strong, courageous, forward-thinking, and dedicated to our veterans. So, here we are today, making a little magic happen with and for number 30. And we don't get to gifting 30 bikes, right, without saying some thank yous. So our first thank you is always our most important, our deepest felt, and it goes out to our military community. To the brave men and women who are currently serving across the globe, some of them in harm's way, and their families who are here in the States, some of them across the world as well, serving alongside with them. We thank them. And to the many veterans, some of you I know are in this crowd, we believe we are here today in the incredible country we live in because of your efforts then and your efforts today. So we thank you, gentlemen, for serving. And to our mothers and our fathers, our husbands, our wives, our sons and daughters, our sisters and brothers, and the many friends whose loved one paid that ultimate price in service, we thank them. Our second shout out goes to Appleton Harley Davidson. Now they couldn't be here today because get this, even in this crummy weather, they are doing their King Veterans Home Ride today. So hats off to them for, again, supporting our veterans. But let me also tell you, they love what we do. This is now our third bike that we bought from them. And they couldn't have been more stoked and more supportive. So when we went in and we said, this is it, this is the one that captured this guy's heart, and this is our budget, they dropped that budget and made it hit specifically on our target. So to them and their generosity and their support of veterans, we say thank you. Our next shout out goes to all of you, right? All of you who are our supporters, who follow us on Facebook, who have donated and shared and made this happy. You spread our word, you tell people about us. We're standing here today, again, 30, because of what you do. 100% of whatever you share with us, whether you drop it in our tank, you buy the t-shirt or the sweatshirt, whatever it is, you have an event, you make a quilt, 100% goes straight to buying bike and nothing else. Because we believe our veterans deserve 100% from us. And that bike This is a massive shout out to all of you across our nation who quilted, who shared, who supported. This does not happen if we don't have participants helping us along the way. So thank you to all of you who stitched your heart out in making that quilt. To the Primitive Gatherings team, wow. To all of you, y'all can't even imagine the process that goes on over there. But to all who shipped and boxed and packaged and wrapped and made and created and labeled and took pictures and blogged and videoed, all of you, this doesn't happen without every single thing you guys did. So thank you very much. And all you ladies wearing these shirts, I love it. Thank you for being here and helping us out. Katie Nolan, I have to say thank you to you, Katie, and I hope you're watching at home. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you yet, but wow, thank you. Katie is the wife of a major, I think, in the Air Force. Katie has an amazing embroidery business. So when she heard what her friend Lisa was doing, she jumped on and designed an embroidery pattern and made it available and sent us proceeds. So if you're not a quilter and you're an embroiderer, you can still do this, right? And for anybody like myself, I can still buy those kinds of things already done. So Katie, thank you very much for sharing with us. And Lisa. Oh, Lisa. When I got that call, you guys, I thought I was being pranked. But Lisa had the opportunity to use both her talent and her generous nature and her incredible heart to make this happen. She designed this quilt. She blasted it out. She got all of you involved in helping. And look where we're at. Because not only did you raise enough for that bike, you all exceeded that tremendously so. Over $43,000. So Lisa, thank you. Thank you very much. So now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to Lisa. Come on up here, honey. Lisa Bongean, everybody.
She didn't leave me much to thank. She did an awesome job. She's hired. Because right now my heart, I don't think I've been this nervous for pretty much anything. But who can be more generous than bikers and quilters? I can't think of any two groups that I am more proud to be a part of. So when I saw my first gifting in Fond du Lac, Mr. Thede, right? I was so moved and so touched. Literally I was bawling, and most of you know that it takes a lot to make me cry, right? I'm a little choked up right now too, but so I just thought, hey, I'm pretty good at getting shit done, right? So I thought, well, I knew I had some backing, all of you out there, and my staff, and my customers around here in the Fox Valley in Wisconsin. I knew that we could pull off raising money to get a bike for quilters. And how cool is that to raise awareness that quilters aren't little old ladies, right? We are cool. So just erase that out of your head right now, and quilters come all ages, from everywhere. We even had Canadian quilters donate to this cause as well. So, and I don't know some APO addresses, so I don't really know, I know they're serving, but from where they were serving, we got donations from too. So if you look around the room, we raised money by, one, offering this pattern free and asking for donations from our quilters. And then we said, hey, send us your letter. Tell us about your people that you want us to recognize. And every week I would read their letters, their donations, and they just kept coming in about their fathers, their grandfathers, their family members, their kids, everybody that they wanted to honor. We read, and now they're here today so everybody can take a chance and just see that outpouring of support in honor of their veterans close to their heart. So that was one of the ways. And then just fabric. I designed this red, white, and blue fabric line, and I thought, what better thing to do than something patriotic? And I know that these aren't all stars, like we'd maybe want them to be, but quilters need change. We can't do the same thing over and over again. So I had to change that blue field there every time to keep us interested and to keep them sewing along. And that's what we like to do. We like to, mix it up a little bit. And then we had some quilt auctions, and people sent in donations of other things that they created, quilt barn signs, jewelry, baskets. They sent donations in, and we raffled those off as well. So it was all because of everybody else. I just had the idea that us quilters could do it, and you didn't let me down. And I wish I could have rode my Harley in here this morning, but I am a very fair weather rider, okay? So no rainy weather for this girl here. I got too much at stake here to keep going to risk any of that.
Yeah, but look at the boots, people.
Yeah, I got my boots on, and they're not shiny. They're kind of beat up, right?
They're
if you get really close to me, you're going to notice that my nose is sunburned, my lips are chapped because Nick and I rode 800 miles 2 weekends ago to Michigan and to see Katie's mom and family. So we're all kind of interconnected, and we met through this love of passion of quilting. So no matter what you're passionate about, who knows what can be done with it. So I think that's pretty much covered all of how this happened. So I think it's time to get to the main guy, because Kevin, you're the main guy.
No, that's totally the main guy.
Yeah, but you're going to introduce the main guy, right?
All right. Yeah, don't kid yourself. Thank you, Lisa. And Nick. So, come on, everybody, get out though. We can't see you, Joe. Come on, you're out thinking it. Let's say it. Let's get it over with.
Just think of it in your mind.
Okay, there you go. I got you, Dave. So my job is to introduce our recipient today, our friend Nick. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about him, his story specifically, but also a lot of themes that we found apply to a lot of veterans. And the stories have become really important. When you've heard a little bit about Hogs for Heroes. When we started it 6 years ago, we had no idea in the world we'd be at 30 bikes in a quilting in Larson, Wisconsin, with all these past recipients here. I wouldn't have believed you for a minute. And I am thinking too, my dad, who's not with us, is somewhere, Air Force vet. He's laughing, going, "What are you doing in a quilting shop?" I'm not quite sure, Dad. That's right. But I'm damn glad to be here. So the stories have become so huge, and it's because, one, sharing that story is very cathartic. It helps the veteran, the recipient themselves, talk about it. And each of these folks have done that as well. These are all our past recipients here, some of them, not all of them, the ones who could make it. So it's helpful to them. It also sets a huge model, an example to other veterans that you can talk about it. You can seek help. It's not easy, but you can do it. And what each of these people have said and done has helped others. And then lastly, it helps us. As Audrey said, she and I are civilians. We did not serve. But we have learned so much from these stories, from these amazing men and women. And it's not the stuff you see in the movies. And it's not the things on the news. It's real life. And it's the real life day-to-day struggles that really bought our freedom. So with Nick, born and raised Wisconsin, and early on, things weren't the easiest. There were struggles. And in his application, sometimes we like to pull things out of there. I think the phrase we agreed to go with is, I was not the best teen. Nick's words, not mine. Not the best teen. But he was trying, and he did not come from a military family either. He did have a grandfather who served in World War II. And that generation talked about it even less than this one. But he idolized his grandfather, and it made an impression on him. So when he was a young man and he was struggling and he wasn't sure what to do, he and a buddy got together and said, I'm going to try the service. So he enlisted in the Army National Guard. Went through basic training, made that heroic choice to serve our country. But he's done with basic. He's still struggling, different jobs, got married, that didn't work, divorce, some homelessness. Then he was deployed to Iraq. And for many of us, that's a scary thought. For Nick and these brave men and women, they embraced that and did that for themselves and for all of us. And in Iraq, his specialty, his primary specialty, was a helicopter refueler. And these are part of all the stories you'll learn. Again, I don't think there's ever been a Hollywood movie about a helicopter refueler, has there, Nick? At least not yet. Maybe now.
I'm working on a script.
There we go. And so that's what he did. And so you think about that and all those jobs and what a lot of these men and women did too, all those support roles. Because not everyone is the tip of the spear. Not everyone is in the infantry. But you need all those jobs and all those roles to protect us, protect our country, protect our freedom. So he would be over there, and many of us just can only try to imagine what it was like just Iraq itself. That climate, the heat, the sand, doing a very dangerous job. You're around this machinery, the helicopters, and everything. And then try to do that while people are trying to kill you. Mortars are coming in, snipers are shooting, and you're running around with a tank of gasoline, basically a bomb on your back, to make sure that these helicopters can keep flying to protect and to bring out the wounded. That was his main job, and you'd think that was enough because he's doing that on base. He'd have to fly to other bases, firefights to get into the base, get out of the base, and do it all again. That's pretty amazing. And that's something as a civilian, I can talk about it. I can say I try to understand, but I can't. But that's why we honor these people, because they've done things we haven't. And then what really got me is when, again, every one of these men and women can tell you this, you have your specialty, your main task, but then you get assigned other jobs. And one of Nick's other jobs was, I think I got the name of this right, this one blew my mind, Unexploded Ordnance Recovery Team Leader. And you think, oh my goodness, what could be worse than exploded ordnance? I would imagine is unexploded ordnance. Because what that means is you get to go out after your airfield or your base or your location was shelled and find out if there's any bombs still out there that haven't blown up. And you get to do that at night, in the dark, with a team that this was probably not a plum assignment, the people who got assigned to him. And you get to be the team leader and go out and do that and find that. That's pretty frightening, folks. That's courage. And he told us about one particular time where the vehicle they had to take out, because I believe none other were available, was to actually take one of their refueling trucks that's empty. So basically take a bomb out to go look for the bombs that haven't exploded. Let that sink in for a while. And then get up and do it again the next day. It's pretty amazing. And again, that's the day-to-day. That's what the sacrifice is. And then the truly amazing part is Nick grew to love it. And he decided he wanted to make the Army his career. And like lots of times, fate intervenes. When you think you've got it figured out, you think you're going down a path. He was in a combatives course. And I apologize, but this still kind of cracks me up. Take a look at this guy. In the combatives course, the instructor decided she was going to impress the whole class and show him something by folding him in half. I believe, again, drawing from his application, he said, it's the only time in my life I've kissed my inner thigh. And he can laugh about it and we kid about it, but unfortunately doing that, he suffered a debilitating injury to his back. I mean, I can't imagine trying to fold this guy into anything. So despite wanting to continue on in the Army, he couldn't. His service had to end because of his mental and physical injuries. And many of these folks can tell you, and our other recipients, that's really a double whammy when you figure out what you want to do, and it's a really difficult job, but you love it, and you're told you can't anymore. So now you come home, there's some element of failure, you often hear survivor's guilt. I'm no longer with my brothers and sisters, and you're home now trying to figure out how to be a civilian. How do you do that after your job was getting shot at in helicopters and going out and finding bombs at night to going to parent-teacher conferences? That's not an easy thought. But he reconnected with his girlfriend, Kim. Kim, where are you? She's here somewhere. Now his wife?
She's hiding.
She's hiding. Good for her. There she is. Hey, Kim. So they reconnected, and with her encouragement, she got this guy who wasn't the best teen to enroll in college here at Oshkosh and work towards getting a degree. That was not his first choice. That was not easy. And while he's in school, they had their first child, their daughter Aurora, who's here as well. And he was talking too about, that's one of the things we hear most with veterans returning is, I don't fit in. I don't know how to connect. I don't know how to explain myself. And now here you are, you're older, you've been deployed to Iraq, you're married, you have a child, and you're hanging out with a bunch of 18-year-olds that just want to get drunk. And it's like, how do you wrap your head around that one as well? But he did it. And he also found a job on the campus at the Veterans Resource Center. And I think that really put him on a new path, a new calling of serving other vets. So things were coming together for him. He was married, he had a child, he got a degree, and so things are going well. He's feeling he's on that good path. But, as so often happens in life and many veterans' lives, and Odd might not like this, but I'm going to throw in a Bruce Springsteen reference. I thought of his song. He's got a song, you might have heard it. It's called One Step Up and Two Steps Back. It's a great song, and Nick's story really made me think about that. So he had taken that step up, but then his motorcycle, it was a 1982 Honda Sabre that was given to him. That was his refuge, his passion, his ride. Broke down, didn't ride anymore, and he lost his job at the Veterans Resource Center because he was now out of school. So you think you're there, and then you take those two steps back. And that's where another one of the themes we talk about that is certainly true of Nick, but of all these veterans and all of us we try to emulate is grit. When things have gone wrong and you've taken those steps back, to have the courage to push through no matter what the obstacle. And so he did. And his way of pushing through was to now enroll in graduate school and get a master's degree. And he did that and graduated. That is grit. That is going from Iraq and bomb fields to getting a master's degree to help others. So when he graduated with that degree, he found a job in the veterans community at the Veterans Employment Services. So now this guy found a way to contribute in a positive way by serving other veterans. Did that for several years and then joined the Veteran Outreach Program. We've got some other folks who do that here. There he is. So their job, thank you. One person likes you, Mark. That's pretty good.
He had to pay him.
So now his job, and he was recently made a regional coordinator. So here we have a guy who's on a good path, and while he's doing this, his passion for motorcycling, he bought a 1999 Vulcan, because it's what he could afford. Let's just say it didn't exactly fit him too well. But it was a bike. It was a way to ride. He had been without a bike for 6 years, but he's riding again. And that's what we saw in his application. That grit, that love of riding. But that motorcycle that's now, if I can do the math, about 23 years old, it doesn't fit him and doesn't really work. isn't helping to keep him on that path and give him that freedom and give him that solace. He rides it when he can, and another quote from his application that I loved said, "Motorcycling is my passion. When I can't ride, it hurts." So we look at that, as Audra said, that's where you all come in. That's what Hogs for Heroes does. We've got a veteran, served our country, injured, trying like hell to have a good path in life. And that path would be enhanced and supported by riding, both the riding and the freedom and this community that it brings and all the support. So we're going to take this guy who wasn't the best teen, but is now a husband, a father of 3, master's degree, and veteran servant, and put him back on the road to help him with his healing and to continue to serve others. So if I can introduce Army Sergeant Nick Brewer.
Well, that's a hell of an introduction. Hope she's not watching. I'm sorry if you are. And Nick, which is an awesome name. I especially want to thank Kevin and Audra for everything they do for veterans. You know, all these people in this room would not be here experiencing the awesomeness of quilting if it weren't for Lisa and Audrey and Kevin and Nick. I think this is a fantastic cause. This is a family. This is everything that people can get behind. I mean, I look out over the crowd and I see people from different aspects of my life here all mingling and seeing each other, and this is a wonderful event that everyone can come to again and again and again, because I don't think we're going to stop giving bikes to veterans. So I think this is fantastic. I just want to thank you guys again from the bottom of my heart. For those of you that know me, I can talk a lot. I promised Audra that I wouldn't. So, you know, again, thank you.
All right. Now comes the really fun part. You want to get a close-up on those right there. These are the keys to that awesome motorcycle. And something we do now, Brian, if you join me a little closer here. If you've been to one of our giftings, this is one of our favorite parts, is we're going to hand these keys down the rows. These are some of our past recipients, the ones who can make it. And again, I want to stress to you folks, you know, when we gift a bike, there's no strings attached. These folks all wanted to be here, injured or not, 2 legs or not.
I told you I'd be coming on 4 wheels.
Should be on 2, but we'll talk about that later, Jonah. To welcome Nick into our family. And so what we do is we pass the keys down from each of the past recipients. And let me introduce them quick. This gets a little dicey because I've mispronounced the names before and I get in a lot of trouble for that, so I'm going to take my time. Don't do that to me. Brian Vitek, Brian Russell, Jason Sokol, Mark Preventure, Shannon Flynn, David Ron, Ashley Ferg, Patrick Dunn, Jeremiah Schrader, Zach Bays, Kevin Robson, and now Nick Brewer. But because of all she has done to make this happen, we're going to do things a little different. And Lisa, could you join me, please? I'm going to give the keys to Lisa, and she's going to start the procession of the keys.
Gentleman's already broken.
All right. Yep. Now Nick's going to fire that bike up for us, and trust me, this is not easy to do with everybody watching you. You're starting up your bike, so give it a shot. Nick. Here we go. Neutral. The bike is on.
He's all the way over in ACC. Too far.
Come on, Nick.
I told you it wasn't easy.
I know it's not easy.
Let it rip.
It's been a while. I'll take the left one.
Performance issues.
All right, we're going to start this thing up. The anticipation is building. I can feel it. Here we go. Come on, Shannon. Shannon used to work at Harley Davidson, folks. He's our resident expert.
It's not just me. It doesn't have neutral.
Okay. He's pulling the clutch.
Just don't pop it.
Keep the clutch in.
Roll it forward about 2 minutes. There it is.
Woo! They told me the bike works.
Right? Yeah.
That's the sound of freedom right there, folks. All right. Oftentimes we wrap up now, but we got a couple amazing things we want to add that this is such a special event today. And so I'm going to actually turn it back over to Lisa because we're going to do something once again we've never done before.
All right, wasn't that awesome? You agree, right? All right, Nick, so while I was making these quilts and teaching quilters across the country on how to make this, I came up with 4 quilts. So guess what? This one is yours to take home. All right? Every time you see it, just know you're awesome and you care and love you. All right? And as a mother of 3 boys, when you do something for one, you gotta do the rest. So, ladies, we have made quilts for every one of the 30 participants. So these ladies stitched their hearts out. Lori Thomas stitched binding till her fingers probably bled. Terry Schloss, yes. Roz Cross, one of our employees, stitched all the names on the back of the quilt who made a block for the quilt. So we asked for quilters across the country to send in blocks. We needed 600 of them. There's 20 blocks in each quilt. Your name is on the back if you want to put flashing some of those labels. Sometimes there's 20 people on a quilt, sometimes there's only 2. So use this. You know, it's not a bed quilt, it's probably your recliner quilt. Or you can hang it on the wall. Quilts can be art as well. If you need any instructions on washing it, you know where I am, right? You can ride your bike here and say, hey, how do I wash that thing again? Or I can put it out there for you. It can be washed. The best compliment you can give to us quilters is to use this quilt and love it. Because quilts are love you can touch, all right? And we can't thank you enough for what you've given us, the freedom to pursue our passion, stitching all these little pieces together. That's how we stress relief. So you get it, it's the same as riding your motorcycle, because sometimes that's what I need to do to not think about my job, which is quilting, but not very often. I love what I do. So from the bottom of all of these quilters across the country, thank you for your support.
That was spectacular, and a very, very hearty thank you to all who stitched and made all of these 30 quilts happen. Those are beautiful. So this is the part where we normally wrap up, but Kevin reminded me we had an announcement to make. And the last time we did this, we rolled a trike up and surprised a veteran, but we're not doing that today. When we started, we'd hoped we'd do one a year. Last year, we put 6 on the road, and our minds were blown. This year, we said we were putting 8 on the road, and we could barely imagine how we would fit that into our lives, but we did it. And then I was feeling a little frisky. And so, although I am not pregnant,
Your child's here.
we are going to welcome one more rider to our family this year. So instead of 8, we're going to put 9 veterans back on the road this summer. And although I can't give you the details yet, I will tell you we have met this gentleman on Friday, and we found the bike that captured his heart. So very soon, we'll be rolling out his announcement and letting you all see that. So if you're not a Facebook user, please get on Facebook, follow us, you'll get that announcement in your feed. If you want to have our newsletters come to you where we share our stories of our recipients with you, please share your email and get on board. If you have any questions, we'll be here hanging out after the show. But right now, one last goodbye and thank you to all of you. We're going to please remember a little bit of respect as we dismiss our color guard. Gentlemen, thank you very much. And I hope you're all hungry because they have been cooking up a donation lunch for us. So please enjoy the camaraderie, have some lunch, help us raise a little bit more money for Hogs for Heroes, and let's give our veterans one more round of applause.
Goddamn good.